Welcome everybody to a game that I call Forward Unto the Stars. This game is a dream of mine to make, and I've wanted to make this game since I was 12 years old, and I finally feel that I've built it in a way that I'm proud of, and something that I feel that I would like to show the rest of the world. So, thanks for coming along on this. You may think that this video is an advertisement or promotional video for my game, and it kind of a little bit is, I'll be honest. But ultimately, we're here to smash some bugs, and that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to do is kind of document the production of this game a little bit as well. I've actually only been working on this build of this game for possibly 2 to 3 weeks now. It's a very young, very early game. And so there's going to be a lot of bugs with it, but yeah, just keep that in mind also while I'm showing you guys around that a lot of this stuff's still going to be kind of rough. Some of the AI does dumb things every now and again, and you know, we're squashing bugs. That's what we're doing. That being said, you're probably wondering, well, what is Forward Unto the Stars? And the answer is this is going to be, it's a bit of a hybrid. Primarily, I've been focusing on space trader type games and 4Xs. And if you're not familiar with a 4X, those are strategic games. It stands for expand, explore, exploit, exterminate. And these types of games are usually your higher level games like Masters of Orion, Imperium Galactica, which is the one I cut my teeth on as a kid. I think Endless Space, I get that in another game mixed up. But a lot of these, no, it's not Endless Space. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, just a lot of these types of games. Oh, Star Wars Empire at War. That's another 4X. That's pretty common. These are, yeah, they're just really fun high-level games that usually you own a faction or some sort of government agency of some sort, and your job is to basically manage it. And that's essentially what we're going to be doing in this game eventually is managing your own organization in space. And what that looks like is completely up to the player. They could be a mercenary, they could be a space trader, they could be an explorer, they could possibly even be a colonizer, somebody who goes down and builds colonies and fills them up with people and then sells them to, you know, other organizations for whatever reason. I don't really know the extent of what the game is going to end up. Originally I had a battle plan and was working towards it, and I realized the game started taking a bit of a life of its own, and so I'm kind of just going with whatever feels right for the game and using that as guidelines, and it's working out pretty well so far. So you may be wondering to yourself though, if this is a 4X, then why are we able to walk around? And the answer is because unlike most 4Xs, I've always wanted a feeling of being there. And so that's kind of the goal, is to make something like an immersive 4X in a way. And it's kind of funny that, you know, I should be saying that because I keep saying 4X, and yeah, there is in fact another game out there that comes pretty darn close to what I've been trying to build. And no, that's not Star Citizen. I don't think Star Citizen is going to be anything like this. But what it is actually the X series. And funny enough, X4 was the most recently released one. And this does borrow very heavily in game design philosophy from X Rebirth and the X4 games. So, and that is the ability to basically walk around on the bridge of your ship and do interactions and things like that. Essentially, having a fully simulated space environment where the player has physical existence in that world, and that's what I'm going for. You'll be able to walk around and like walk up to this console with the broken sprite and interact with it. There's different consoles giving statistical information about your ship and faction, and there are other places that you can go on the ship as well that you know, you can kind of explore your ship, but those places serve purpose. And so I'm really excited about where this is going. And as you can see, like we can see right out the bridge window right here, and the universe is modeled. You know, all this stuff is really happening. That ship right there is actually a part of our faction. He is going to be our wingman. It's really ugly right now. That's because we're looking at the back of it. Butts aren't pretty. So when he turns around, you'll get to see what that ship more looks like. But yeah, that is a Fenrir class frigate. Currently, I do not have shooting mechanics, so even though he's big and scary looking, he really can't do anything but crash into us, and that would be detrimental to both our ships, so he will probably try not to do that. But anyway, yeah, he is our one and only faction support craft, and will be following us around for the duration of this video. But as we keep on going, you will find out that this universe is filled up with ships that are going around doing things, and everybody's kind of got a job. In fact, their job is what this video is about. I've been having an issue with trading, and I'm going to look into that and see if I can find any information out about it. And you guys get to hop along the ride for it. I figure, because that sounds really boring, but the reason I decided to do a video on this is I found that bug squashing in all its major forms is actually sometimes kind of exciting or interesting in this game, because we are in this big world and we get to explore it while we are searching for issues with the game itself. There's the Fenrir in all of its majesty. Well, for a second, then it fell into a shadow. So yeah, we are actually able to control our ship and move it around, which is pretty awesome. And like I said, there are other aspects to the ship or other areas we can go. This back door is actually for disembarking, and we'll get to that in a second, but we also have a cargo bay here, and it's empty. Yeah, we don't have any cargo on our freighter, and unfortunately we're not going to have cargo on our freighter because I haven't quite implemented the ability for the player to transfer cargo yet. That's actually next step. I've got multiple passes I've been doing on this game. This pass is basically the initial space trade pass, and so I'll be adding consoles and things like that, which will allow you to do trading. But for now, I wanted to get the AI basically building an environment, and I figured I'd worry about the player later. But if you go over here, you'll also see that in the cargo container section, we are empty. Everything's empty, all our slots, and there's 0, therefore empty. But I repeat myself. Alright, so we do, like I said, want to check that out and see if we can figure out what's going on with a particular bug. But before I can describe the bug, I think you guys probably would want, well, you're going to need to see the ship itself, the interiors, and all that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to dock at this space station, and I thought I saw another freighter docked over here. I hope I did. That would excite me. You know what I don't see is the missile cruiser. Wonder what he's up to. It's probably around here somewhere. But anyway, yeah, the missile cruiser is a, what would you call it? He's a patrol craft right now, and he goes around and basically inspects ships that he doesn't know anything about and identifies them. Since there isn't anything illegal and all the factions are pretty much in alliance, or not alliance, but friendly with each other right now, he doesn't really do anything but fly up to people. So as you can see, this is a food production relay station. Relay stations are responsible for taking the goods on a planet. Oh, there's the missile cruiser. They're responsible for taking the goods on a planet, or basically holding them. So it's kind of a stockpile type station. So the idea is that ships will be coming from the planet's surface, docking here and offloading all their goods for trade. And then ships like ourselves, these freighters over here, will come over to the station and buy and sell from the station rather than having to fly down to the planet's surface. Now you may be asking, will you ever get to go down to the planet's surface? I can't quite answer that right yet, sorry to say it, but let's just say I very much want to. I have some ideas with that. Essentially how this works is through key location systems. There are solar systems and key locations, and we're currently in a key location right now. And so the idea would be that we could have potentially planetary-based key locations, and I think that's really exciting. That is something I would love to see happen. So, but for right now, we are going to, I was going to say teleport. There won't be teleportation in this game. Pretend we're hopping a shuttle right now, and we're going to go visit this station over here. So there we go. We are now on the station, and you can see outside, which is pretty awesome. And right over there, that is the ship we just came from. So that is our freighter, and we were walking around on that earlier too. And I'm really excited about this because I did not know Unity could do this. Yeah, this entire game is being made in Unity right now, but Unity actually allows for compositing of cameras, and that's how I'm able to make this happen. There's 3 cameras that are in play right now. One of them's the solar system camera. Then you have the space game camera, which is all the spaceships and everything flying around. And finally, we have the interiors camera. And it turns out, for all of you who want to know, who might be game developers as well, that you can actually composite cameras together, and Unity will render them in the proper order and make these fantastic looking playerscapes, I guess you call it, or gamescapes. And how you do that is basically you set I think it's called camera index, something along those lines, or render index or something. You set those in order. I think 3 is further back or rendered first, then, or not 3, bigger numbers get rendered first, I think, and then smaller numbers end up like the last one's rendered. And so what you do is you set your third camera to position 3, and your second one to 2, and then your interiors to 1. And then for the third camera, you do your normal clearing. So if you clear skybox or solid color, go for that. But the other 2 cameras, you do depth only clears. And when you do that, Unity will actually composite the 3 cameras together and create these layered scenes. And I know that's kind of a peek behind the curtain here, but from any other player, you look outside and it just looks like this massive universe. You don't even know what's happening. It's just so seamless and beautiful. So, yeah, it's pretty amazing how game development works, that a lot of what you see is smoke and mirrors, and I just absolutely love that about it. You think you're in something, massive, and you're really not. It's just a bunch of little things stacked together to make it look massive. And that's also how that works too, is everything's based off scale. So I can have my interiors, this could be a 1-to-1 scale when I walk around. The space stuff can be a 0.25 scale, and then the solar system can be like a 0.0001 scale or something like that. And it just makes it makes the universe look vast. And in reality, this planet that we're looking at is actually really small. But because Unity's game world is only a finite size before you start running into issues. So, yeah, it's just absolutely amazing what you can do. But anyway, we got all these little trade ships coming over here, and that's pretty exciting. So these guys are probably actually doing trades right now. So if we go over here, we're going to notice that we have our cargo bay on the station is filled up with parts and assemblies and food stuff. Whoop, we just eated a parts and assemblies, and a food stuff just disappeared too. So we are actually empty. That is unusual. Well, let's go see if that reflects it. Yeah, we've got an empty cargo bay here. So that's funny. So what should be happening, and it's funny because this isn't the glitch I'm looking for. This may not be a glitch, but what we should have is freighters should come to the station and drop off supplies and pick up produce or products. And each station's different, obviously, because you need an economic cycle. So here's this guy. He's coming in. Let's see what he does. So there's nothing here right now, so he's definitely not going to pick anything up. But let's see if he drops something off. Man, we have a huge bunch of traffic going on. All right, he just dropped off. What did he do? Nothing. I guess he didn't have anything in his cargo stores. I hope that's the case. You're getting a little crazy. Okay, they figured it out. So one of the things I recently added was collision avoidance systems, so things try not to collide with each other. That works in theory, but not always in practice. So they're doing pretty well for themselves right now, though. So let's see what this guy does. Does he drop off? Yeah, we've got a serious problem here because it seems like we don't have very much production going on. Huh. That's going to be an issue. Maybe this guy will drop off. Come on. Somebody drop some goods off. Okay, let's see. I can't remember. This is a food stuff? Yeah, food production, I think. So, yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason, it's possible that they have other things in their cargo holds. There are all sorts of different products that can be fabricated, and different stations produce different things, and they also, of course, have different requirements as well. So we may have to come back to this station. I happen to know where another station is, and that'll probably be kind of exciting for you guys anyway, because that means we get to go into Rift Space mode. And, yeah, we get to explore the solar system a little bit. So, alright, so we've got our... Where's our wingman? There he is. Okay. We'll have a check on that guy in a second. I'm going to go ahead and point the ship in a direction. Whoa, no, I'm not, because there's a station in the way, and that would be very bad. So let's go around the station. There we go. And we are going to go roughly this direction. and I want to see if our guy, you smart enough? He's figuring it out. Good for him. There he goes. So yeah, the collision avoidance system seems to be working quite well. I'm pretty happy about that. We got more traders coming in, and I don't know. I'm just gonna let the traders fly in over there and see what happens. I was afraid this is gonna happen as far as the economy. I haven't really balanced it out, and so there's things that are trying to overproduce and things that are underproducing, and so the possibility of something running out of supply is very real. So if that happens, the best thing I can say we should do is probably just go somewhere else in the meantime. And yes, eventually I'm going to go through and kind of work with all this stuff and see if I can fix these issues. Yeah, so that was Rift Space right there. We just got to fly past a planet. The planet that we just flew past is the planet Thebes. It is a deserty sort of planet, very similar to that of Karak in Homeworld. Not a whole huge population, but out here in space it's very hostile, and a lot of the planets are excuse me, a lot of the planets are just very hostile, I guess. I'm not sure if that's our guy or if that's... There should be some Fenrir class frigates that are rolling patrol in some of these side sectors, and that could be one of them. This is our cargo bay. I don't know why I did that. Alright, turn around and transfer. So this is a parts factory. Okay, how's this looking? They are also empty. Wow, I've never seen this happen. Okay, here's the glitch though. So we have no supply on the ship, but for some reason, or the station, but for some reason, it likes to fill up with raw ore, and I don't know why that is. So I've been trying very hard to figure this out, and having a lot of difficulty with it, but I think part of what is happening is these are showing up on like subsequent stations. So if I go to one station, that one loads correctly, but then if I go to other stations, that one breaks for some reason. I don't know why that is. I'm not sharing state or anything like that, and it sounds like a state sharing issue. But that's what we're here. That's why you're watching this video, believe it or not. If you're watching it for other reasons, then I'm sorry, but this is a bug smashing video. Maybe eventually I'll do an actual promotional video for this so you guys can see what it's all about. But yeah, I do plan on talking about it, kind of, like a lot of what the game's going to be. You will be a faction owner, like I said, so trading, battling, all those things are definitely going to be a part of it, and faction ownership. So you will have the be able to build your fleets and have multiple stations that you'll have to manage. I'm hoping I can automate a lot of that. One of the features that you don't see right now is the key player. Right now we're in a key location, and these are basically just sectors you can fly to. But there will also be key players, and key players are going to be other characters within the game that you can interact with. And some of those characters will exist for story narrative, while other characters, actually can do both, will exist as assistants or officers, if you will, in your faction. And those people will have special abilities and things that will make them good in particular areas. And I'm also hoping to allow for some sort of a training system. So there will be a handful of other abilities that you can attempt to train a key player in, and that will make them more efficient at other tasks. So then you'll be able to take these key players and you'll be able to use them to drop down on planets and try to take over key locations, military style. You can have them captain fleets, or ships at least. You can have them manage space stations. Hopefully there's just going to be a lot of things that you can do. And I'm also hoping to make it to where you don't just have your own persona, but you can also take on the persona of the key players that you have around you. And I think that'll be a really cool feature because it'll allow you to essentially jump around from one point of the universe to the other by swapping consciousnesses, basically. And I'm not going to throw that in as like, oh, your soul moves into theirs or anything like that. No, it's just going to be a feature, more like you're reading chapters in a book, and one chapter's about character, Bob, and chapter 2 is about character Sue. So the story changes from viewpoints and stuff like that. And that's basically how I'm going to introduce it in the game, is that at any point you can basically just change viewpoints and start commanding your key players. In fact, your player will also be a key player in that respect. There won't really be much difference between them and you, except that you will probably get to customize your key player initially. And you'll probably also get to train your key player as well along the line. So if you're like, hey, I only got this perk in the beginning, but now I have access to this perk, you can probably train for it and get that for your character. And Yeah, it'll probably help out in some way. I haven't quite figured out all the perks yet, but definitely I'm going to have combat oriented, engineering, medical is going to be a major factor in the game as well. Probably management, so managing stations, fleet management, things like that. I'm gonna have like different types of perks for different things. So there may be like a weapon specialist who's really good with rifles, and there might be a close quarters combat who maybe can do melee kills more efficiently or something. And I might also have like sneaky people who are less apt to get noticed, or who can sneak firearms past a no firearm zone or something like that. That sounds really bad this day and age. It's from a video game perspective. I'm not trying to say anything. Be good, people. Anyway, yeah. So I think it's going to be really fun. Just all the different things that you can do. Oh, yeah, and I forgot to mention something, and this is really important. A lot of the assets you see here, I got to toot my own horn here. A lot of the assets you see here, actually all of the assets that you see here, except for the background, which was Hubble, but everything else, all the programming, all the audio, everything that you are seeing right now, I've made all of this. And you may be saying, well, didn't you say you created this like 2 to 3 weeks ago? And yes, I did. But yeah, some of these assets I did pull in from a previous build. I had a previous build of this game. The Fenrir, a lot of the ships actually were from that build. But the station itself, the paneling, the asteroids, the planets, a lot of this stuff, and the station exterior as well. All these things I've made within 3 weeks. The potted plant and the couch even. And it's been a lot of work to do, but oh man, has it been exciting to work on all of this stuff. So yeah, I've been putting a lot of effort into this, and that's one of the things too is I think I'm doing a pretty decent job for a single developer who is coding, doing the art, and the audio. That's right, the footsteps you've been hearing and the engine sounds and stuff like that. All that I recorded. So I've been doing all this stuff by myself, and I think I can do an even better job if I could get a team going. So at some point, I'm going to try crowdfunding this bad boy, but I want to get this thing further along yet. I'm not at all happy with it. This is, like I said, this is not me showcasing the game, although it kind of is. This is more me doing bug squashing, and I want to do that because I thought it would be really fun to have the community along as the game progresses. So you're basically, it's like raising a child. They start out and they're learning their ABCs and things like that, and they can't do high level math or anything like that, but as they get older and you're watching them grow, it's just amazing seeing them blossom. And that's kind of what I want to do with this game, and you guys is give you guys that experience with watching a game start out as this sort of rough diamond. I'm kind of changing my metaphors here, but like a young child, we'll just go with it. Is very immature, doesn't know a whole lot of the world or how they fit into it, and just watching it as it grows into a full-fledged, well, an adolescent or an adult. That sounds really bad. A blossomed game. We'll go with that. So yeah, I think this is going to be a huge journey for all of us to do, and I want you guys to be a part of that. I think that would be really fun. And that's the thing too, if you really like this stuff, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm only going to do this if I get enough subs to my channel, because this is a lot of effort. It takes time away from me actually working on this game. Not a lot, but some. And so I want to be sure there's an audience for this before I start making more videos for this, because otherwise I'm just wasting my time. It also kind of gives me an idea of what you guys think about the game. And of course, since I'm doing the videos, it's a way for you guys to communicate too, because we have the comment section in the bottom. So if you're looking at something, you notice a bug, or you have an idea for a feature, it doesn't hurt to say something in comments. And as far as bug reports, every time I see a bug, or you guys catch something that's not quite right and I missed it, that helps me make the game better. So definitely, interact, become a part of this. Let's make a community out of this. I would absolutely love to do that. And we'll see, what we're going to do. And also, I'm just going to throw this out here, but I'm thinking about doing something like Patreon or whatever. I keep clicking. I need to stop doing that. But I'm thinking about doing a Patreon and possibly having, or basically making it to where Patreon subscribers get benefits and stuff for doing that. And I'll kind of get into the benefits a little bit later. Forget it. Let's talk about it now. So essentially, one of the things you've probably been asking yourself right now, if you're interested in this game at all, is when do I get my hands on it? And the answer is I don't quite know yet. But that is one of the things I've been thinking about doing, is having community builds and subscriber builds. And I was thinking about maybe having community builds, like once a month a community build comes out, and that's for everybody. But then there will be subscriber builds where the subscribers will get access to cutting edge features and get to see the game in a little bit further state than the community build does. I might also consider releasing, I'll let you guys talk about this because this may not go over well, but possibly making it to where the community build is one build less than the current build, so you guys get to see like last month's work as opposed to this month's work, but then the subscribers get the cutting edge builds all the time. So I'll let you guys got to mull that over. Another problem I have too is if I give too much of the community build out and this game gets really, it progresses far enough along, that's a free game, and this has been a lot of effort. I would like to make some money off of this at some point, so I can't just be giving it away for free. Now, of course, I'm not going to charge it exorbitantly out of it, but just a little something to get back out of it would be nice. So when I do release community builds, maybe not so much for Patreon builds, but definitely for community builds, I'll probably end up limiting some of the feature sets so that there's a reason to actually buy the game at some point. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But anyway, so this basically is what I came here for, was just to kind of get another shot of this and notice that, hey, this is broken, and I think I understand. Wait, did it add? I don't remember that. I don't remember those being there. It feels like it's producing ore, like gobs and gobs of ore. You know what I'm starting to wonder? We have ore production facilities. Which? Yeah, we went to the new key location. This should actually be ore production. Okay. This might be accurate. I think I've had it backwards this entire time. Oh, fantastic. I am so happy. See, these bug videos are helping me out, too. But yeah, I think I see what the problem is. Oh, that's definitely a problem. Need to pop that in there. I totally keep forgetting to do that. So, also, I need to... I have some optimizers, too, because some of you are like, hey, I can't even see outer space. Why are you rendering it? Yeah, you're right. That's stupid. I shouldn't be rendering space if you shouldn't be able to see it. I have a program... Actually, I'm gonna shill this a little bit, too. If you guys are Unity developers at all, and you're making games with a lot of interiors like this game has, go on Unity's store page and look up Portal Occlusion Library. This is actually, I did it under a name called Cirrus Play, but that Cirrus Play is me. That's actually gonna be my official company name for all this stuff. But the Portal Occlusion Library is a way to optimize interior scenes dynamically. And it's got some pretty cool features. I'm not going to go over the full feature set yet. Just go, if you're interested in Unity development and want to make a game with a lot of interior, especially dynamic interiors, go check that out. So it's Portal Occlusion Library, and I do plan on using that in here. And it's not going to help a whole lot in this case because, we're kind of in a single area that's more or less... there aren't a lot of twists and turns and stuff like that. But eventually I'm going to have actual crew decks that have a lot of hallways and places to walk down, rooms and things like that. And those sorts of situations, the Portal Occlusion Library excels at. It does a really good job of, increasing frame rate. That was weird. We're full now. But you should only be producing one ore at a time, not 4 full containers. That's insane. Interesting. And this isn't going to do me any good. So I'm not sure what happened there. Very strange. Hey, let's go hop back in our ship real quick. I want to see if a freighter is leaving. No, that's not a freighter. Let's turn around. That was a poor idea. Down. I don't want to smack that. Sorry, I have a bit of a lingering cough still. Okay, that was not dropped off from what I can tell. Oh, hey. Okay, there's our little buddy. Okay, cool. Well, I think I've done all we can do here. Technically, this bug video would be over at this point, but I'm guessing you guys probably want to explore a little bit. So you know what we can do? Since I have no way of filling out my cargo bay right now, did I show you guys that? I've recorded this video multiple times. I'm having the worst time with Bandicam. I hope this one sticks. But anyway, yeah, we also have a cargo bay on our ship. And right now it's completely empty. And it's a little smaller than the station cargo bay. There's 3 yeah, 3 slots per row, and we only have 2 on the freighter. But anyway, yeah, there's not a whole lot I can do with this thing because, well, I've been working on the AI's trading routines, but I haven't quite yet gotten the player to be able to trade. I figured I wanted the economy actually working before I actually started working on trade and, or player trading. And so that's why we're here, is to get those bugs ironed out. Once those bugs are ironed out, I'm hoping I can have that all done today. And then hopefully by the end of today, I can also have the trading system for the player in place. So there's actually stuff to do in the game. As far as making profit and stuff like that, I don't know. We'll see. I would like to be able to do that soon, but that requires a bit more thought into how the economy is going to work. So yeah, not really sure. There's a patrol Fenrir for the system going around, and he's inspecting things. That freighter over there probably jumped in and is from another faction. So yeah, how these guys work basically is they like to inspect guys. That sounded weird. They like to inspect ships, and they'll fly in, and if they see a ship that isn't part of their faction and they haven't inspected it yet, they'll go fly over and have a look at it, and that'll mark the ship that they've been inspected by that faction, so that it doesn't end up like re-inspecting the same ship over and over again. We should also be getting inspected because technically we're a part of a faction called Player, which if you were looking at that console to the right over there, you probably noticed that. These are Free World Alliance, and because the stations around Thebes are the Free World Alliance, and I'm not going to get too much into factions and the lore and all that kind of stuff in this video because that's not really what we're here for. But essentially there are multiple factions. Free World has Thebes right now, and the United Earth Coalition, which is off that way on that planet, that's Serenity. That is not named after the ship Serenity. That is actually named after a soundtrack in Unreal Tournament. But anyway, yeah, so there's the UEC, there's the Free World Alliance, there's the Independents, which are basically just traders, normal traders. Thank you, Macrium, go away. There's, what else is there? Oh, and right now there's going to be the Crime Syndicate, and these are going to be the major factions, I would say. Major organizational factions, but they're going to be somewhat smaller factions that are mostly going to be corporations. And those will be the primary providers of the resources and security in some cases. So there's probably going to be like New Foods, which will obviously be a food producer, and there's going to be just like all these little corporations like that. I'm also going to have security corporations like Echelon, which is they're going to be a fun one. I'm hoping to make it to where you can actually buy or rent ships from them as part of your fleet, but essentially that's how they work. They're like a security brokerage. And but they're also going to apply a lot to the lore of the game, because a lot of these guys aren't just here to make the economy spin. They're also there to, well, they have their own goals, their own aims in life, and the way they acquire the ends to their means is not always legitimate, we'll say. And I'm hoping that'll play into the lore a bit and give the player something to do, because stuff's going to pop up throughout the game that you're going to be like, that could be a problem if left unchecked, and let you have to deal with stuff. But I assure you, I'm going to do my best to make it all fun. The goal is to make it to where the player has things to look into, and well, I'm kind of getting off track here. So anyway, let's go do some exploration. So we're going to go to one more asteroid belt, because there's actually another feature that that we can do here, and that is we can actually change ships. And I happen to know where an abandoned ship is. It is also a Fenrir class frigate, so we'll get to hop in that thing and hopefully not crash into the guy that just flew over us. But that was kind of cool when you saw him like kind of freaking out a little bit there. That probably could be a little less jittery, but ultimately that was him doing his best to attempt to navigate around that asteroid. So yeah, the collision avoidance system definitely is doing its job. I'm super happy about it. They do crash into each other every now and again, but so far we're doing pretty well. Once we jump, we'll probably also start seeing little blue indicators in space. And that's one of the things that I want to do. I was talking about the X series, and you're probably wondering, well, are you just basically recreating, X4? No, I am not just recreating X4. I love X4. I love X Rebirth. These are really great games. EgoSoft did an amazing job on them. But there are some things that I really haven't been a big fan of with them, or just want to change and make my own. And there are a couple of really big things. One is I'm going to be introducing a system called Terse. You may have noticed that there's almost no head. Actually, it pretty much is. Yeah, well, there's one bit of heads-up display, and that's a little dot in the center, and that's just to let me know where the heck I'm pointing. Here's where we need to go. And Terse is going to be a way of dealing with that, because I don't want to put a lot of information on the screen at the player at any given time. I want them to just sort of explore the world and see it for what it really is. But since this is a 4X, I do need some sort of a way to allow the player to manage and understand their environment a little bit better. Whoop, that's one of them. So yeah, that was... Oh, and that's the Fenrir. So these are basically terse representations of our ships and other ships that are in hyperspace right now. So clearly they wouldn't be that size in real life. They're scaled a lot bigger just so that you know where they are and what class of ship they are. And that'll probably be a feature that continues throughout the game. But anyways, back to what Terse is. It stands for Tactical Environment Relay System. And it allows the player to see and interact in the real world with objects around them, basically. So, for instance, that you'll see that there's text above the space station there. That would actually be Terse giving you that information. It's just there to let you know, okay, this is an ore mine relay station. So basically, the idea is things or stations would be over here mining, and then they would be dropping them off over here on this relay station. And so, yeah, and it's an independent station. So this is the one sector in the solar system that's independent. And let's see how they're doing. Yeah, so I'm still getting flat zeros here. So I think this is actually a readout of the first station. So I got to look into that and figure out what's wrong. That is definitely not right. But we'll get that solved. Let's see what his cargo bay actually looks like. Okay, so now we've got parts and assemblies. So how that works is, why do we have so many parts and assemblies? Because the freighters are dropping these off. This generates ore. That's kind of its thing. But they need mining parts and bits and goodies in order to get to that ore, and so that's what they need parts and assemblies for. So the parts and assemblies are a supply that they will consume over time, and then it should be building ore, but I'm not really seeing that happen. I don't know what's going on with that, so I'll have to look into it. If I had to guess, I have a thing or a function called can produce, and I'm thinking that's returning false when it should be returning true, so I'll have to look into it and see why that is. Considering the fact that we had some problems earlier with the readouts being wrong, I wonder if that bug is somehow seeping its way into the AI logic. That would be a problem. And I really don't know why that's happening. That sounds like state sharing, but the reality is I'm not sharing state here, at least not that I think I am. See, I'll have to definitely look into that code. But anyway, we're at, the independent station, so we were actually going to go grab a new ship. Let's go find that. Is this it, or is that the patrol ship? That's probably the patrol ship. Oh, gosh. Hi. I love the fact that they also turn. It's not just me that's responsible for... Ah, crap. Well, that figures. We just crashed. Well, you guys got to see the explosion, so that's good. And yes, I made the explosion myself. Woo, that's a big sun. Yeah, that's another thing, too, while we're here. The stars are actually changed out every time you play the game. And there's a lot of different stars. I'm going to eventually make the solar systems a bit random, too. But, yeah, the idea is that, well, actually, there's the variety of stars you can have are yellow suns, red dwarfs, blue dwarfs, red giants, yellow giants, red giants, and a neutron star. And the neutron star is pretty cool looking. But there's also some hidden stars, or things in place of stars. One of them is a black hole with an accretion disk, which is very prototyped right now. It doesn't look great, but it's kind of cool. And I also have the impossible star that I call the Lovecraftian star, which looks very similar to the black hole with the accretion disk, but the accretion disk is actually green and glows really scary looking. I love it. That will probably not make it into game, but I just was having fun messing with shaders and materials, so can't help myself. It's one of the fun things about game development is you get to kind of just mess around and try out new ideas. So, this is a lot of fun, though. Another thing you're probably asking yourself, especially those of you with a VR headset, is will there be VR support for this game? And the answer is yes, there will be. In fact, there already is. And you may have also been thinking, like, oh, so are you doing it VR first and then porting to PC? And the answer to that is actually I'm doing both first. I'm prioritizing both VR and PC play. And yes, I am using an Xbox controller right now, but the reason for that is simply because I think it just looks a lot more fluid when I'm recording. It does support keyboard and mouse, so don't freak out. Excuse me. But yeah, the fact that there's very little user interface, I actually was creating builds, prototype builds for this game a long time ago that we're like, how did we get this far away? But yeah, prototypes that actually didn't have much of a user interface, and I was doing that because I really wanted that feeling of being there, and I didn't want stuff cluttering that feeling up. So yeah, this really isn't a VR first technique that I'm using per se. It just happened to work out great for VR when I first came up with the idea. And again, that's what TERS is going to be for, is giving you tactical information in the front line. And I am hoping to be able to shut TERS off, so if you're exploring and you just want to have a look at something or take a screenshot, you can shut it off and it'll just be what you see. And I think that would be really fun. Are we further away? I am so bad at this. I want my ship. It is really hard to find. It's just a cluster of asteroids. So it feels like it should be around here somewhere. If we get into the space lane, it's right along the space lane. So there it is. Found it. So yeah, just follow the freighters, and you usually run into it, which is really nice. Hey guys. Whoa. There we go. Okay, cool. Yikes. I think I just like hit that tangentially and flew right back in. Wait, are we in or out? Okay, yeah, this is Rift space. Where'd it go? I can't see it. Hi. Well, at least our Fenrir is still following us around. That's pretty nice. There it is. Okay, can be hard to see. So yeah, as you've probably figured out right now, these round circles represent key locations. This would be another TERS, what would you call it, display, I guess. And they are color-coded. The orange ones are supposed to be relay or resource extraction places, and there's some blue ones and purple ones and white ones. I haven't quite color-coded them all yet, but yeah, they'll be there for that. All right. Sorry, I'm thinking right now because I'm trying to go, okay, what did I crash into last time? I think I hit an asteroid, if I recall. You know what? We're going to go above it, I think. I don't usually do that, but I'm going to go above it. Oh my gosh. I hope you're it. This could be a patrol craft, in which case I'm wasting my time. This is dumb. I can't see where I am. We're just going to have to hope that we're close enough to it. I'm going to say about here. There's no way to see it. Okay. Transfer. Hey, we can. Haha, we're close enough. All right, cool. So can I see my ship from here? I'm probably a little bit behind it. Oh, yeah. I think I see us. I'm pretty sure that's us right there. Yeah, I got right on top of this thing. Awesome. Cool. So here we are. This is the Fenrir. And I'm going to go up a little bit because we look like we're about to crash a little bit into that asteroid. So the Fenrir, as you can see, has a different bridge layout. This is actually the cruiser layout, but I changed the lights green. The cruiser actually has orange lighting, just to differentiate the two. But yeah, I wanted an actual difference in bridge layout for the freighter and the... that always scares me when I see shadows doing that. I feel like I'm really close to something. But yeah, for the freighter and the military ships. So yeah, I ended up creating a brand new bridge just for the freighter, and I like that because it just kind of makes the ships feel unique, which is what I want to do. So I'm trying to think what else there is to talk about. There's a million things to basically talk about, I guess, but I'm kind of saving some of it because, well, let's just say the ship that we're in right now may not have been the only abandoned ship in the game. And I don't even think we could safely get to the other one, to be honest, but, well, we're not going to worry about it for right now. I'm going to save that for a future video because I think that would be really fun. So let's go fly over to Serenity real quick and just have a look at it, and I think that'll pretty much be it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this so far. I've been having a lot of fun showcasing this to you guys, and thank you guys for coming along to help me figure out how to squash that bug. I think I have a better understanding of what's actually wrong with it. So yeah, super happy about that because I really want to get the economic system working. Hopefully by Monday. Actually, hopefully by the end of the day. What is that guy doing? That's weird. I think he thinks he's at the location he's supposed to be, but he's kind of not. So here's Serenity. It's a very pink planet, and it's hopefully going to live up to its name. I want it to be kind of a relaxing sort of area. Of course, you know, if you're battling on it, I guess that takes the relaxation out. But it'll be a pretty little place to hang out. There's going to be... this is actually a surprisingly hostile planet, though, because it's going to be outside the Goldilocks zone, so it'll be very frigid compared to most others, and you know you will not be able to walk out in it on without a spacesuit, or not a spacesuit, but an environmental suit of any sort. Ooh, which kind of lets the cat out of the bag a little bit, because a lot of people are probably asking right now, hey, can we actually go down to the planets? And the answer is, I hope so. I really want to do that. They would basically be another form of key location. And I really would love to be able to walk down on the planets and stuff like that. Like I said, or maybe I didn't say, because, again, I've done multiple takes of this. Thank you, Bandicam. I do have another planet that I've been working on for my last build, and I'll probably end up importing that in. It's kind of monstrous. It's got a lot of features to it, but it makes the planets look a lot more... It just adds a lot more fidelity to the planets. And I think you guys will like that. One of the reasons why I'm doing that is because some of the key locations are going to be near suborbital. Yeah, suborbital. So I need to have a lot of fidelity on the planet so that when you look down, it just doesn't look like a giant muddy mess. So anyway, that's basically it. I can't help myself. I love walking around and just looking at the world. There's our ship, what you can see of it anyway. Oh, you know, one of the things, because I've been talking a lot about like how this is all going to be like big ships and you're flying around on these, you know, cruisers and frigates and freighters and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people are going to be asking themselves, you know, are there going to be fighters in this game? And the answer is there already are fighters in this game. And if you guys will put up with me for a little bit, I can try and find one for you, but they're really small and hard to see. And we risk running into them. That's how difficult they are to work with. Man, I shouldn't have deleted my other video. I could have like just spliced it in here and made life easier for myself. You know what though? I don't know if I can find the fighters or not. They're really elusive, so I may save that for a future video and I'll showcase them to you guys. They're pretty cool. I'm very impressed with how they turned out. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for now. Oh yeah, the final thing I was going to say, because when the fighters came up, I thought about it, and then I'll probably end up closing this video, and that is the control system. How does it work? And the control system is kind of a fly-by-wire thing, since you are like a captain or a commander of the ship, rather than, you know, direct control of the thrusters with a stick or anything. Basically, you tell the ship what you want to do, and then it figures a way of doing it. So essentially how that works is when I get behind the console over here, if I want to go this direction, I simply click a button on the gamepad that's left trigger, on the mouse it's right mouse button, and that will tell the ship that I want to orient at a particular bearing. Now the current speed is pretty traditional. Uh-oh, that fire is... Yeah. Well, at least it wasn't us. I don't know what just happened, but our wingman just crashed. But anyway, that's what that giant flare was. But anyway, yeah, so that's how the system works. And I can hold it down, and it'll just keep turning in that particular direction. So, yeah, going back to the fighter, I know a lot of you'd probably be like, oh, that sounds terrible for flying fighters. And I agree, it probably is. So how that'll probably work is I'll probably have two different flight systems. I'll probably have something a bit more traditional for the fighters. But then for this type of ship, the bigger ships, it'll be sort of the command interface. Because I really do want them to feel differently. I want you to feel like when you're behind the wheel of a frigate or a battle cruiser, that you have a lot of tonnage behind you. you don't so much directly control it as you tell it where to go, and it sort of does its own thing. Now, of course, I'm going to make sure that it does its best to follow your intent, and so far it's working pretty well. But yeah, it just seems really weird flying, with stick and throttle and stuff like that. It just doesn't quite feel right. But for fighter, I agree it would. So I'll definitely be trying to implement that sort of a system in the future. And oh, that's another question too that people might have is, will it support HOTAS? I don't really know, but I'll tell you this: I got Rewired on Unity, and that's what I'm using as the input system right now. And Rewired has full support for HOTAS, including the Cytex and the Warthogs and things like that. So it's within reason, we'll say. So anyway, with that, I just want to thank you guys again for helping me smash this bug. I hope you guys enjoyed the solar tour. This is all like the solar system and everything. Remember, all early access. This is basically a debug or prototype solar system, so this will probably be changing a lot drastically by final builds. But yeah, again, just thank you guys for going on this tour with me. I hope you guys enjoy it a lot. Remember, if you want to see more of this, subscribe, hit that bell notification, write some comments. If you saw some bugs or you have a cool idea for a feature, it doesn't hurt to use the comment section to let me know your feelings on those things, especially when it comes to bugs, because if I missed something, then you guys are helping me make this a quality product. So yeah, just yeah, subscribe and like this video, so hopefully I can get some more traffic too. And let's see if we can turn this into something amazing and awesome. And thanks again. I'll see you guys in the next one.